Thank you very much. I want to apologize most heartily to all of us who have been waiting, and to really want to thank you, Inspire Synergy, for this initiative and the work you're doing for our great continent. I was asked to share on the critical skills development and to use Uganda as a case for this. So I'll quickly share what we are doing as a nation, and especially through the Ministry of Education and Sports. I'm sure all those who are on this call tonight know that Uganda is one of the countries in the world with the highest rate of population growth, which has been averaged at about 3.2% per annum. And that gives Uganda one of the youngest populations across the world. Now, this has great implications for education. One, as a human right, all these children who are being born need to go to school and learn and acquire competencies that can make them useful citizens in future. But it also means that in terms of getting quality education, it gives us a moving target. That's not far going. Uganda has a vision as a nation, Vision 2040, which is focusing on transformation from peasantry to modern and prosperous Uganda. And it's clearly recognized that education forms a key pillar in realizing this vision. Therefore, as a country, we acknowledge that it's only when the products of the education system have appropriate competencies, values, and attitudes that we can be able to transform our nation, that we can be able to move from where we are to where we want to be. So Uganda as a nation, through the Ministry of Education and Sports, is interested in making sure that our education system produces job creators. This has been made even more critical during these 2 years of COVID-19 pandemic, becoming extremely clear that it's only when you are able to think and create something that you'll be able to survive in the current harsh environment, not only nationally, but globally in which we live. So we have been for some few years, and now especially during this COVID-19, looking at the fact that our learners should think critically and creatively. Thinking critically and creatively, so that you are not held up in a box in a straight jacket, but you are able to create solutions and move forward. They should be able to manage themselves as well as work collaboratively with other people to achieve their goals and objectives. To be able to think outside the box and solve problems and come with solutions that benefit themselves and the people around them. So it's important as a country that we educate our young people and emphasize the development of those critical skills that will give them competitive edge in this 21st century, which is definitely ruled by ICT and science. And this edge, this fourth industrial revolution, which finds us as Uganda and I think most of Africa still struggling in reality under kind of the second industrial revolution, we are bombarded with the fourth one. And so we have to do a lot of catch up and integration to get us where we are. So what have we done as Uganda? In 2019, the Cabinet of the Republic of Uganda approved the TVET policy to facilitate skills development for the growing industrial sector in our country. We have also, for the last 6 years, been implementing a program called Skilling Uganda, which was meant to help develop practical skills for the quick products that we can think about through carpentry, building, hairstyling, business, and several other skills that children and young people can learn and be able to get products, be able to employ others who can't, but also to earn an income and progress. For us to be able to get the skills we want, the curricula have been reviewed. I was glad to hear from Professor one of the two things they actually found out that would lead transformation. And one of them is curriculum development. I cannot agree more, because for the last almost 10 years, we have been trying to review our curricula to bring on board skills, both the hard skills, but also the soft skills that will enable the outcomes or the products of our education system to be able to fit in this 21st century. So there's been a lot of review at the pre-primary level to help young people before primary to start developing those critical skills that they would need not only to learn, but also to progress and to be productive. A curriculum was reviewed at primary, and recently we had a curriculum review at lower secondary, and we have also had review in tertiary institutions, especially TVET institutions, to make all our curricula competence-based. The reviewed lower curriculum of secondary incorporated the generic 21st skills, values, and attitudes. These were embedded in this lower secondary curriculum, which was approved by Parliament at the beginning of 2020. We have also worked with some of our partners, especially the British Council, through what is called Connecting Classrooms program, to trial out some of the approaches to developing critical skills in the 21st century. I want to briefly share with you what is in the lower curriculum, because it was approved in 2020, then we had COVID-19 coming in, but it's something we are excited about, which we are moving forward to implement. In the lower curriculum that was reviewed, the emphasis is on the 21st century skills. And in the curriculum, they've been called generic skills. These have been integrated into all the subjects. The skills lie at the heart of every subject, and they must be developed among all the graduates who will finish the lower secondary, which we commonly call O-level here. The skills that are emphasized in this curriculum include critical thinking, problem solving, creativity and innovation, communication, cooperation and self-directed learning, mathematical computation, and ICT proficiency skills. These skills in our reviewed curriculum allow young people to develop into lifelong learners who can adapt to change and cope with the challenges of the 21st century. Together with the curriculum, the assessment modality has also been reviewed, and some of these generic skills, which cannot be assessed by pen and paper, will be assessed through observations of the activities undertaken by various learners by their teachers on the day-to-day basis. Each of the learner then would be expected to do a project, and this project can be assessed at the end of senior 3 by what we call DIT, the Directorate of Industrial Training, and then a learner would come out of O-level with a certificate in a specific competence that was assessed by DIT, but also with the certificate at the end of O-level, the UCE certificate. So the learners will have an opportunity to demonstrate their competence, and they will also have an opportunity to demonstrate work readiness starting from senior 3. This assessment leads to an award of a work pass at level 1 in our Uganda vocational qualification framework. We have a qualification framework, and when these young people who do the revised curriculum have had their tests done, assessment done at the end of senior 3, they will be able to get that certification or that award, which is considered level 1 in our qualification framework. The first skills based subject expected in the lower secondary curriculum include those which can enable them to join the world of work, but also enable them to acquire gainful employment at various levels in their education system, in their education life, or even when they fail to continue with higher education after O-level. So the key subjects, the first set of subjects that will be able to help learners to come out of the O-level stage and enable them to join the world of work or even gain gainful employment include agriculture, entrepreneurship, fine art, ICT, performing arts, physical education, technology and design, nutrition and food technology. But all the subjects on the subject menu in our revised curriculum, they all promote critical thinking and problem solving. They all promote creativity and innovation and all these other skills as I had mentioned before. As I mentioned a while ago, Uganda partnered with the British Council Connecting Classroom program, and we have had some trainings that will help our teachers to teach a competence-based curriculum that would teach a skill-based curriculum. Under that partnership, 4,486 teachers, 2,100 head teachers have been trained on how to embed and develop core 21st century skills in the teaching they do. 44 officials from Ministry of Education and KCCA, 145 members of National Curriculum Development Center have been involved in these trainings. Teacher and trainer education department, and several other people have been involved in this initiative in our collaboration with British Council. I'm sorry that I cannot share my slides because what follows actually has a lot of pictorial, and one of them shows the professional development unit structure, which starts with planning and goes through up to assessment of the skills attained by the teachers and the head teachers who undertake this training. When this training was piloted out, as I've said, the 21st century skills which are embedded in the curriculum were the ones on which this training was focused. And it has critical thinking. It has, it is based on these competencies or these skills, these 21st skills, but the training itself considers looking at various perspectives, looking at solving non-routine problems, looking at the deep structures of thinking and reasoning and responding to questions for children, but also it has the evaluation of the evidence that is got out of that training. So this training looks at what we normally call the Bloom's taxonomy, but now helps teachers to see how do they move from the simple thinking and simple questioning to the deeper questionings that will help children to think, to reason, to find solutions, to collaborate, to work together with their friends. And through the training, these skills are given to the teachers, and the teachers move on and share these skills with the learners in school. I'm so sad that I can't share with you some of the pictures, because the learners in some of the schools in the rural places where this training was piloted were able to do tremendous things that you would not think they would do. They were able to change what we call garbage into useful materials. They were able to innovate things. They were able to work together and collaborate in groups, form teams by themselves, and through the teams, be able to develop their leadership, choose leaders among themselves, and rotate that. And a lot of work was done in the pictures that I had put down to share with you in this presentation. So what I'm trying to say is that Uganda is awake to the fact that the children we are educating now, we are educating them for jobs that are not yet created. So we are educating them with that understanding that they just need to be given skills for lifelong learning, skills that will help them learn in a new environment, adapt, and be able to thrive and be productive. So I'm glad that you have come together as a team to look at it from the continent, because I know that God has richly blessed the continent of Africa, but we have had challenges and hindrances. The greatest of them are challenges of the mind, the attitudes, and so the focus on transforming these attitudes, transforming our thinking systems, helping us to realize that we have actually what it takes in terms of the cognitive capacity to do great things. This is going to help unlock most of our learners and young people's minds. And once that is done, we have no doubt that Uganda and Africa will take its position in this world, in this fourth industrial revolution, and be able to do great things. So during this COVID-19, the reawakening on the use of ICT has become more alive. And as I speak now, the e-learning agenda in education is about to be completed, but also the ICT policy is about, ICT in education policy is about to be completed, so that we can see how to roll out the use of ICT into the actual teaching learning process, not just as a tool for sending emails and accessing whatever, but in the teaching learning process. So we hope that soon that agenda strategy will be ready, and then we can progressively roll it out to schools and train teachers how they can use the ICTs to be able to deliver their teaching and for the learners to receive their learning. So I want to thank you very much once again for this wonderful opportunity you've given us to share part of our experience. I'm hoping that I can send you this presentation and then it can be shared with all of you who have been able to attend on this call tonight. Thank you very much.